Hey, what's up, everybody? It's James the Juggernaut on the Northwest Jukebox Podcast here with my guests. How do you guys pronounce it? Las Mil Amores?
Las Mil Amores.
There you go. My wife's Mexican, and she was trying to help me pronounce it, but she's not here. Otherwise, otherwise she would. So tell me, who are you guys?
So we're Las Mil Amores. We're sisters. I'm Elsa.
And I am Maggie. We're both born and raised in East Los Angeles, California.
Okay, and so what was it like growing up in East Los Angeles?
Well, East Los Angeles can be beautiful and rough at the same time. I think like every neighborhood, I mean, it's East Los, you might have like the stereotype that is like, oh, like crazy and this and that. But
Right.
you know what? I think that it just depends. I mean, there was good days, bad days, depends. It was nothing really that I could say, oh, because the stereotype of East Los is like, oh, because of the gangs and this and that, but nothing
Sure.
like that. I think that it's like an everyday type of life where you go to school. Our parents are immigrants. They migrated from Michoacan, Mexico. They struggled, they had jobs, side jobs where they had to, do things to, make our life better because I mean, we're not rich, but my dad and my mom were always very hardworking. Our life, I think that maybe it all depends. We're kind of different on the type of childhood that we kind of had because, school, certain people that, bully like any other city, I'm assuming.
Yeah, like
Right.
then we
Right.
did have two totally different upbringing. She had her own experience and I had mine. But overall, I say, I don't know, growing up in East Los Angeles, although there wasn't ups and downs, it was, I don't know, it's pretty fun, it was just pretty cool.
Were you guys raised together?
Yes.
So how is it separate then, as far as the way you guys grew up?
You know what? I think it was different. Our upbringing was pretty different. We lived in the same household, but we did live
Totally different lives and experiences. I would say mine's just short. I lived a happy childhood. Teenagers were great all the way up until ninth grade. I did get bullied, but I always had friends. So for me at that time, it wasn't really that much of a big deal. I don't know. I was a cheerleader when you're in high school. Always part of like party crews, partying, going out. Had a lot of friends. Popular, but they're not so popular. But I can't complain. Really close to my parents.
See, my upbringing was like it started off with a sort of family incident that happened that one of the family members did something very bad to me. So
Okay.
from there, I think everything went kind of downhill because I started being very introverted, very quiet, always wondering why me. So when you have that type of attitude, I think everybody around you starts for some reason not understanding. So they might take your actions in a way that um, they might interpret it in a wrong way as if it's towards them. Nothing like that. But since I was very introverted, very quiet, I would get a lot of bullying by my peers since elementary all the way up to high school. Because of that, I was never really that close to my parents as I was growing up. I was always like fighting with them. If for any reason I wanted to maybe expand in the artistic world, I really couldn't because I just wasn't understood. Because of that, I started hanging out with people that maybe were not they were just not good people for me at that time. So I think that my upbringing was had a lot of episodes and was pretty sad. Of course, lesson learning as well.
Sure. And with everything going on recently, um, with the administration and stuff like that, it's definitely an eye opener, right? So you guys grew up with immigrant parents, correct?
Yeah,
Yes.
they both came in illegal into the country, but they did the amnesty in '87. They did get
Yes.
that, and then they became U.S. citizens in 1999.
So how was that? I'm from Yakima, Washington. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Yakima. We have a big Native community. We have a big Mexican community. A lot of people from California, Texas, so I've always just been one of 2 to 3 white kids in my class. It's just what it was. And it was such a beautiful and interesting experience because I never really felt that until middle school. You know what I mean? But I mean, my wife's Mexican, most of my friends, are Mexican. When I was, as a teenager, we were listening to Mr. Shadow and Mr. Night Owl and and I listened to like Eminem, 50 Cent, stuff like that too. But I had that different influence, if you would. So yeah, a lot of my friends tried so hard to be East Los and SoCal because no, seriously, because they're tios or they're primos or somebody was from there, right? Or they knew family out there. And so Yakima, I love Yakima. If you guys ever had a chance to come up here, it's a beautiful place. We call ourselves the Palm Springs of Washington, but it's definitely a little wannabe Los Angeles for sure. But no, so if you guys don't mind, I want to get into, so your guys' parents came here, got amnesty in 87, got everything figured out. How was it like being, because you guys are technically first generation, what was that like being children of immigrants in Los Angeles?
I would say a lot, because a lot of the kids in East Los, a lot of my friends, their parents were immigrants, and kind of like all of the people I went to school with, all of our parents kind of did the same thing at the same time, got legal around the same time. So I don't know, I guess we were too little, because it was too little when we were really, really like, I don't even think we were probably like 2 and 80, like,
sure.
I don't know, I don't really remember so much like scared that like my parents something bad, because we were too little, so I don't think we got to experience, because by the time we were like already able to like realize what was going on, my parents were already legal. So I don't think we ever went through that whole like, oh my god, my parents are gonna get deported, because I think we were probably like in elementary.
So
sure.
Everybody around us, East LA, you might think I've heard like people have asked us like, would you guys get into like fights because of like racial issues and things
sure.
like that? Nothing like that.
Because everyone's Mexican.
Yeah, everyone in East LA was like Mexican, Hispanic. There was there was a couple of other races around us, but I think everybody that was around us was, their parents were either going through like issues where they kind of already had like their green card, so they wanted to kind of become US citizens.
Sure.
So really everybody around us, nobody around us really went through anything that they got deported. I know that I did know a couple of girls that they did explain to me that their parents did get deported. After a while, I didn't see them anymore, because I think that they just had to go back to their parents' country, even if they were US citizens, because they had to, they were too young, so there was no way.
Yeah, they had no choice.
Yeah, because there wasn't so much seeing. Now you have like social media, and even if it's bad, it goes more bad because you see the repost and you hear of it all day. I don't know, back then I don't really remember much like anyone talking about it so much or nothing like that.
Yeah. And I'm not gonna ask because it's not my business, but I just turned 30, right? So I grew up in Yakima, 2000s, 2010s, stuff like that. And, obviously with me being white, there's a lot of things when it came to things like that I didn't really understand until I got older. Like I had friends that, their dad can get this job, but he couldn't work this job. And I'm like, why is that? And as I got older and went through my own things and got into the culture, if you would, and started to really embrace what was around me, it didn't make sense. I argue with a lot of people of my skin color as of recent, people I go to church with and things like that. So I'm predominantly Mexican, but you have a couple people that are white, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm proud to be white, but I've noticed that some people have lost their humanity with this bullshit. There's some things that I agree on, and then there's a lot of things I don't. There's a lot of people who come, and that's why I asked is, I have family members, I have friends who have been here since they were 2 or 3. They're illegal, right? It just is what it is. But they bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, they're running companies, they're doing this, they're doing that. Some of them have DACA, things like that. The administration right now is not really talking about that. There may be, 10% of whatever, whether it be Mexican, American, Canadian, whatever, right? It doesn't matter. 10%, there's going to be bad people no matter what. And I feel like they're definitely trying to tailor a narrative because they're trying to push an agenda. Well, does that make sense?
Yes.
And, and just growing up the way I did, it's like, yeah, I got into stuff, but see, I chose to get into stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I never was a gangbanger, but I sold drugs a lot when I was a kid. I watched Blood In, Blood Out religiously. I always wanted to be Miklo because it was cool. I was the only white guy there. So, when I met my wife's family, when I met her grandfather raised her, and I was all like, hey, she's like, hey, you're going to meet my dad? I was like, hey, ¿qué onda? She's like, don't tell my dad that. She's like, that's not your homeboy. And so my wife had to explain to me, she's like, not, but it's just what I embraced, right? And there's nothing negative about it. And I love the culture of Chicanos, man. I love it so much. And I feel that with what's going on right now, a lot of people who have been in the dark with their racism and their negativity are just coming to light. And I just feel that's wrong. And they're really damaging a community that upholds this country.
Well, yeah, like that's what I was saying. Like, see, for us, our parents did have us older, so they were kind of like more settled when they had us. They already had a house. They were already like,
Right.
I think they were becoming U.S. citizens like in '99. We were like in elementary, probably.
Yeah.
So like we don't go through like the whole race thing in East LA because basically the way it was for us, everyone was the same. Everyone looked the same. Everyone's parents were the same. So we never. And which is sad, right? Because I know a lot of people are going through that. We can't really talk much about like, oh, I went through like a racial issue because of this. I mean, we went through bullying because, girls hate on girls or whatever, or rumors. But on that, no, like that my parents got discriminated at a job because of their race. No, nothing like that.
There was occasions, like I remember when we would go, for example, I remember this incident. Actually, we went to eat at a Huntington Park restaurant. I remember
Pioneer Chicken.
Yes, and I do remember that they were pretty racist with my dad. I had never ever witnessed that. But my dad, he's like a straight like Mexicano. He has like a
cowboy hat,
like paisano.
Yes,
he's a straight like Vicente Fernandez, Antonio Aguilar type of dad.
Yeah, that's how my father-in-law is. Yeah.
Yes, we went to this restaurant. I remember that they were racist towards him. We didn't understand, like, what? Like,
we just thought the man was moody.
Yeah, and he did tell him a word that is very offensive, especially, well, I don't know about to everybody, but to us Mexicans, it is. And I remember that, like, my dad looked at us like, oh, like my daughters are gonna witness like somebody being racist towards me. I don't think he never said that they were racist towards him. Only when he barely got to the country, he said that he had a couple of racial issues like in his jobs when he barely came to the country.
But it was with Hispanics. Like Hispanic against Hispanic,
but nothing like that. In that incident, that particular incident, yes, they were racist. We never noticed that, and it got us thinking that we kept talking about it after we got older, and we're like, wow, like I can't believe it that that happened. Like we go back and we think about it. And it's sad that, somebody could discriminate somebody else because of their race, their color. It's sad.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And not that I don't want to continue that portion of the conversation, because I feel like we could talk for hours on that. but fighting through those challenges that, you know, at least at the very beginning that your parents went through, how did you guys get into, you know, it'd be kind of generic to say what you do now, but like, did you guys grow up with social media and things like that? Because you guys are respectfully influencers in your area, right? And that's why I reached out. And so what got you guys into the modeling? What got you guys into, you guys do music, and you know what inspired you to, because you guys are very catchy. Okay, I seen you on Instagram and the LA fires were going on, and you guys had the video, and I'm like, oh, who are these girls, you know? And my wife's like, what you doing on Instagram? I was like, oh, no, it's just promo. It's promo, you know? no, but it's just, it was really cool, you know? Like, you guys are catchy, you guys are funny. You guys are definitely beautiful, and you guys have like a whole thing that you guys are kind of cultivating. And so how did all this come together?
Well, I've always liked to sing. Like I said, I went through an incident where I kind of had to keep myself mentally stable. I think I always would listen to music, and I was like, one day I want to be famous. I don't know how. I want to sing. I want to act. I want to do this. I want to do that. I was like very artistic all the time. I remember that I used to write a lot, and I used to put everything on like paper. When I would put it on laptops, I would put it on my phone. And time went on. I remember that time went on, and like I told you, things happened. So I was like, I'm never gonna be famous. I remember that I wanted to be a model even, and I had an eating disorder for years because I wanted to be really skinny, because I was like, I want to be a model, I want to be famous. As I grew up, I went through an incident where I got with this really abusive person, and when I broke up with him, I started going out with my sister, because like she explained, she's always been really, really, really bubbly, really outgoing. So she started taking me out to the clubs. And I remember that I would sit there and I would look at the singers, and I said, hey, why don't we do a duet? And I remember I went to her with the idea, and she was like, you're crazy.
So my story is different. I was more just like, I like being like popular and everyone knowing my name.
Sure.
I remember going to school and I was like, all right, today 10 people know my name. Tomorrow my goal is for 15 people to know me. And when class favorites would come around, I was like, I'm gonna run for this. And next year I'm trying out for this. And if it didn't happen in this school, I'm doing it in that school. And at that time, it was like when Jennifer Lopez was like everywhere, like Hollywood and everything. And I was like, I want to be like her. I didn't really know much about like, oh, she sings or whatever. I just wanted to be like her, as in like,
you wanted the notoriety,
famous, like getting known. So I used to like her and like Beyonce and all these girls. And I was like, oh my God, I just want to be like her. But like she mentioned, we were going to these nightclubs, and it was like Paisa, Regional Mexicano nightclubs that was actually kind of like a refugee camp for me, because I couldn't go to like local hood parties anymore because a bunch of kids wanted to like beat us up, like honestly. So I had a neighbor that started taking us to like those Spanish nightclubs that were located in farther away cities that were not in East Los Angeles. So we started going there, and back in that time, listening to Spanish music and being all into like banda and like corridos and that type of music, you were just not cool in school, because they were going to call you a paisa, they were going to call you a chunti. So when my sister brought that to my attention, I was like, wait a minute. No, I want to be like Destiny's Child. I don't want to be like the people that were up at that time, you know, singing. So little by little, we waited until high school to end. That's when we kind of like presented the idea to this nightclub, which was very popular in Los Angeles, which is El Parral de Southgate, where like known singers like Chalino Sanchez and everyone used to sing there. And the owner was like, oh my God, I love the idea. So we went up there and sang, and we sucked completely. Really, but the audience was really nice, and they were clapping.
It was really bad. We honestly did a really bad job, but we did give up. And we continued doing Regional Mexicano and Regional Mexicano. Regional Mexicano is hard. it's really hard because you gotta be vocally.
Which is funny because we started off very professional.
Yeah.
Professional. If you look at like our back stuff, clean music. We had like ghostwriters. At one moment, we had like the teacher of the late Chalino Sanchez, his son, Samantha would write our music. My sister would write it. We would pay big old productions and big old like studios and professional CDs, and we would go up and sing with live bands. No one cared.
And you know what? I'm not saying that the ghostwriters did a bad job, but I think that that actually became popular in that time was the music that we wrote. So after a while, we started kind of seeing that like Regional Mexicano was pretty hard. We kind of had an incident where we kind of stopped doing music for a while.
It was like 5 years that we stopped. We went to college. We kind of left social media and all that. We kind of left it to the side, finished college. And then after like maybe during COVID hit, when we came back and we're here, we're viral because we started acting like ourselves, like how we were growing up.
In that time, we did another Regional Mexicano song. It went viral a bit, but not really. Rappers started hitting us up from Mexico. And I remember that in COVID, we were like rapping. Like, we're gonna do rapping? Like,
because it took us so long to leave like that LA image. We didn't want to look like colas on the internet because we just didn't want to have like a bad reputation, you know? But honestly, I kind of think that the more you think about it, and this is us, like, we grew up in East LA, we love the LA Dodgers, and we like to be loud. Maybe if we would have been ourselves since the moment we started, I could imagine, you know, if it's only been like maybe 3 years that we've been doing like all these rhymes and rapping and everything. Oh my goodness, it just blew up.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it definitely has. And I noticed just kind of like where I grew, it's like more Yakima's more, it's a city, but it's a lot of farm around us. So there's a lot of banda and corridos, and that's the kind of music that all my friends' families and my wife's family would listen to. We'd have to go out of town for those nightclubs you guys were talking about. And I'm 17 months in recovery, but when I was still using, I'd go to the bathroom, take a couple passes, and I'd be and I'd be the only white guy, and my wife would just sit there and laugh because all these dudes, and I'd be like, "Go that primo," and they'd be giving me shots and getting all fucked up. I loved it. I loved the reggaeton music. Daddy Yankee and Nicky Jam. I went down a rabbit hole with those guys because my wife was introducing me to all types of different music. Right? So this is kind of like rap. This is kind of like rock, but we call it this. And this is kind of like country music, but we call it this. And man, I'm telling you, no Diddy, but I was stuck on Nicky Jam's nuts for like a good 2 years.
Yeah.
Like it's amazing music. It's amazing music, amazing nightclub music. And like, even when you're dancing, they're still telling a good story. So when did you guys always have that name, or is it just something recently in the last couple of years you guys came up with?
You know what, Las Mil Amores, we were a party crew. So we started going to nightclubs. We started calling ourselves Las Mil Amores. It was me, my sister, and a couple of girls.
Sure.
And I remember that the first time that we went up there to go sing, they asked us, "Hey, what do you girls want us to introduce you guys as?" And we're like, I don't know. So the girls started yelling, "Las Mil Amores." And we're like, all right. So they just introduced us as Las Mil Amores. So they just stood.
Okay. And so inspirations, do you guys take any inspirations from, and I'm not trying to compare, but it just pops to mind, like Jenny 6ix9ine, she's into beauty. She got into music. She's an influencer. Like, do you guys kind of not copy, but do you see like a mirror to something like that, or somebody else?
I would say not, because we started doing music.
Okay.
We started doing Regional Mexicano years ago. Our first YouTube video was actually in 2010. And we were already doing all that since back then. I don't know. I know a lot of people have said, like, do you guys compare? But I say everyone's different.
Right.
She's her own unique way and we're our own way. Because I guess she started off being, like you said, a makeup person and then influencer, then music. For us, it was actually the other way around. We started doing music. We left, came back, and kept doing music. We never were really like
influencers first. No, I think that we just became influenced because of the internet. I think with people sharing us, and I mean, it's not us, it's just the comments.
Yeah, because we went viral actually like years ago. Like you're talking about MySpace.
Yeah, so we actually went viral like when we were in high school for like the first time.
2010, 2011.
We kind of stopped. So us, it's been like gaps back and forth. Right now, I think our main thing has always been music. It's just that people have caught us as influencers. And I think now
it's our rhymes that are kind of catching people, guys. Like rhymes, looking together, dressing the same, not caring what people say. Because I'm telling you, we cared what people said a long time ago and we stopped.
Yes.
Yeah. And so that's the way you guys have built your following. Because that was my next question, is how you guys built your following, but you kind of just explained it to me. So you guys found a niche that worked, the dressing the same, the rapping the same and things like that. Do you guys write them together, or is it just one of you? Or?
Well, we've always dressed the same, but I kind of think that the people just like us, like the LA style, like the Cholita style, like rapping about LA, the Dodgers, writing.
Yes, and like the writing, we both go ahead and, for example, like
she'll write something and she'll tell me fix it, or I'll write something and I'll tell her fix it, or she'll come up with like an idea and I'll tell her, okay, we'll record it here. So it's kind of like always been 50. Well, before she was more of the writer,
and now it's like 50-50, because I think we're like sugar and spice, like without sugar, there's like, with sugar you need a little bit of that spice. With that spice, you need a little bit of that sugar. If you eat a cóctel de fruta, I don't know if you've seen like those cócteles that you need like the chamoy, and you need that's us. You need both of us to get what is now, I think, Las Mil Amores.
Yeah, no, and I guess it comes from excuse me, like back in high school, right? You said she was more bubbly and you were kind of more reserved. And so it's kind of it's just stayed your guys's formula through your entire career. I could definitely see that. So what's some of the big names that you guys have either been shared from, like a big rapper, musician, or somebody you guys have worked with during this journey?
It's been a couple of people.
Shared stages with Roberto, just Regional Mexicano, Roberto Tapia, Ramon Ayala, presented an award where Jenny Rivera performed. Rappers, you would say Neto Reno, he passed away. He's a big rapper in Mexico. Chiquis R.A., El Mana, Erika Valentina, she's also a Regional Mexicano artist. We've done a lot of collaborations. People we wish to work with, some of them are not alive anymore, and others, there's a lot.
Can you name some
that we want to work with? I think possibly, let's see, a couple of people. I mean, Peso Pluma is it. I mean, hey,
he's fire.
Him.
He's fire.
YG.
Yeah, he's one.
Kendrick Lamar. You would say like reggaeton, Becky G. She's put it out there for Mexicans.
Fuerza Regida.
Bea Cat. Nathaniel Cano. There's a lot.
Yeah.
So you guys just mentioned Kendrick, and I wanted to follow up with this. So the last, it's been 2 years, 3 years, maybe a little longer than that. California music, well, definitely a little longer than that for California, but your guys' demographic, it's changed, right? So when I grew up listening to Mexican rappers, Chicano rappers, if it wasn't somebody like SPM, or if it wasn't somebody like Baby Bash or Criminal or Capone, it was always just like a niche, sound and look and things like that. And even honestly, Capone and them have carried it on ever since. And the newer generation, like Lefty Gunplay, Peso, Peso Peso from Texas, Mexican OT, Snow the Product. Snow the Product's been around for years, and she's dominated everything she's touched for 10, 15 years at least. Because I remember her coming around back in 2012. I told her, I've met her once. I told her, it's like, I remember you opening up for Little Rob, and now Little Rob probably be opening up for you. Just how things have changed in the music and the sound. What's your guys' opinion on that? I mean, it was directly, I guess, for California, but I named some Texas artists, but Mexican Chicano rap and how it's kind of evolved.
For us, I don't know. We remember Little Rob, A Lighter Shade of Brown. Yeah. We remember Acquainted. I don't know. I kind of don't think there was like
Cali Lifestyle.
Yeah, you know what? I think the evolution of it, I think that it's probably changed a bit just because I think it's more woman dominated now. That's what I kind of think, because I do see a lot of women out there. I just think that they don't give women a lot of credit. But the males, I think they've always been the same. I don't really see no change. I just see like the same older ones still putting it down, but I see new names coming into that. But I don't know. I just think that women do put it down. I just think that they just don't give them enough credit.
Right. Well, with that being said, no, absolutely. I mean, but the sound has changed, right? So like a Lady Pink's.
I'm thinking, the sound.
Like the sound,
the evolution of it, I think it's still the same.
But I'm saying for us, like we used to listen to Aqua, Little Rob. I don't know, for us it kind of always stood the same. Now, like you said, it's a bit different.
Candy, I think.
What were you gonna say, Lady Pinks?
Oh no, I was just saying like a Lady Pinks and Snow the Product sound completely different. You know what I mean? But Snow the Product came in later. And like even though Lefty comes from that same cloth, as far as what he represents, he sounds a lot different than Capone, Well,
I guess so I think Lady Pinks is more like Chicano rap, but the Product was more modern.
Correct.
Lady Pink started a long time ago, like 97, 98. She's more like Chicano rap, gangster rap. That's kind of how I remember her. Snow the Product is more modernized. So I guess because in like how I would see it as a fan, Lady Pinks, I would look at her like more of a gangster rap, when Snow the Product is not. I don't think she raps about gangs, right? Nothing like that.
No, I think she has a history, but that's not what she represents.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I guess
I think they're all just different.
They're all talented, but just different.
Yeah.
Right. And so, where do you guys see the California music scene specifically, and your guys' self within the next 5 years?
You know what? We just dropped a song that is doing pretty good on the internet. It does have a sound from like California Love, a rap that was
we recreated it
back. The song doing really good. So I think that if you leave the Cali type of flow, if you leave it the same, probably just do a little bit of niches and touches to make it a little more modern, I think it'll still continue to work, because that song is actually doing really good. And when I heard it, I was like, I wonder if it's just gonna be a little too maybe old school. You know what? For Cali, I think we always stay almost like in the same type of wave and platform.
Yeah, no. 5 years. You asked in 5 years, where do we see ourselves? I guess living off of like music, like 100%. That's like our main goal. Getting recognized for like that one song that like you're gonna remember, whether it's just like one hit, but we want like one hit to be remembered, because we've accomplished everything else, but like music, since we would always leave it and come back. There is a couple of songs, of course, that we did make money off of, but we want like that one hit that you're gonna remember, like you're gonna see. You know how you say, I remember them because of the fires, or they'll tell us like, I remember you girls because of the World Series, because of your Dodger videos. I want to be remembered because of that one song.
And the song you guys are talking about is the We From Cali one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I like it. I do like it, and it's catchy. It definitely represents your guys' personality. the twinning, right? And I think that it has potential to definitely do something. If you guys thought about maybe getting a bigger artist on a remix or something and doing a video as well to that song.
You know what? It has ran across our mind. I mean, it's that good that, hey, if I mean any artist would hop on it, of course we would be willing to see where this goes. I mean, hey, you know.
And so you as far as the way that you guys are dropping music now, so that record came out not too long ago. So do you guys have, my apologies, do you guys have other records kind of in the bucket? Like, okay, we're going to drop this one in a month, or we're going to drop this one in a couple of weeks. And
we actually dropped the reggaeton in November, and it was produced by DJ Alexis. He's a very big producer in the República Dominicana. He does do music for big reggaeton artists. We have Me From Cali, and then we also have Straight From the Hood, which is a remake of the Next Episode, which is another kind of like old school dog pound kind of like beat.
Yeah, no, I remember it. So did you guys have to pay for clearance to get that record out? Since you guys remixed it?
Yes, we did. We actually got the clearance from the guy that did our beat. He has worked with other artists previously. He's really good at what he does. He did both of the songs for us. He did the beats. He cleared it for me, and he gave me everything, you know, how it has to be so we won't get in trouble.
Can you tell us the process? Like, do you know the process to clearing a record? Because so far, and I ask you that because I've had a producer on here who's worked with Tech Nine. Do you guys know who Tech Nine is?
Yes.
So, from Kansas City. Yeah. So he's produced for him and Strange Music, 40+ records. He's also done stuff for Kevin Gates and Snow the Product, but that's his main client is Strange Music. I've also worked, just dropped my interview with Yellow Hill from West LA. And he gave us insight on the modern, you know, I don't want to say local because I wouldn't consider him local, but how an artist who hasn't hit like a Kendrick level yet on how to make money as an artist on the business side. So could you give us a little insight on what it's like for an artist to clear a record?
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and give you 2 examples. If you find a person that's gonna go ahead and do a beat for you, like rap a beat, he did it. He cleared it for me. I had no worries on that. He did it for me. He gave me the paperwork, and that was that. How I do it, it's a process. So I had to do 2 songs, which was 2 regional Mexicano songs that we did covers on, which was Aceraje, and we also did another song called Celos. So these 2 songs, this is how it is. So the person that did the beats, first of all, they have to check that it sounds similar, but there's certain things that they do have to change, and you have to be really careful with the person that you go to, because if the song sounds too similar, you're gonna get sued. So then he gives me the backgrounds. We do the vocals for it. We went ahead and went to the studio. We did everything. We got it mastered. Before it even hits anywhere, you have to go ahead and do the process. For me, the easiest way that you could do it is how I did it, which is number 1, go to TuneCore. That's where I put my music at. You put the music in there. They're gonna go ahead and tell you, guess what? This song sounds like a replica of something else. So they're going to give you a number. You're going to keep that number. And they right away give you a couple of sites where you could go. There is a cousin of theirs that's also right away you go in there. It's another internet site that's theirs. It also has Tune. And just go in there. They will give you the links. Click on it. You're going to pay a fee. The fee for me was about $110, because if you don't pay the complete fee for each song, remember, you're going to have to keep renewing it every couple of years, every couple of months, depending on the original publisher. So I paid the complete fee. So they go ahead and they send it to whatever publishing house the song belongs to. They hit them up. After a while, I get an email saying they approve or they don't approve. Celos was easy. They approved it was amazingly easy. I got the email. Yes, my song was ready to go. It started streaming on all platforms almost immediately. I said, okay. Oh, now that one was a while. The reason why is because there was errors done already by trying to make a duplicate off of the song with other artists, because a couple of artists had already been trying to mess with the song and there was a couple of errors. So when we submitted, a bunch of emails kept coming back saying that it was fraudulent, that what we were doing was not right, that we could possibly get a court order, because there was other artists that had already done it wrong. So when they figured out that we were brand new and that we were just trying to do everything right, I got finally an email saying that I had to start all over. And for that one, I did have to pay a little more, which was not that much, but about 145, because they had to, go through it again, put it in there a couple of times. Finally, I got my email. So I was able to, put it all over the place. But TuneCore, for me, it was pretty easy because they guide you. You go step by step through there. Um, it's regional mexicano, so it's a little harder. With the rap, if you get a person that's gonna do the beat for you and he's gonna do the work and give you the rights, that's the best thing.
I really appreciate that information. You broke that down seamlessly. Um, but my only thing is about that with the rap, when somebody's making a beat, it should be the same process. Like if for like, for example, how Tyga did Little Flip Sunshine, right? So they kind of twisted the beat a little bit. I mean, obviously they reached out to Little Flip and got him in the video, and that probably benefited him more than it benefited Tyga, right? So do you believe that all producers already have those clearances, or because I already know the answer, right? So for an artist watching this, what should they look out for when a producer does that, and what are the red flags, and I guess what would be the green flags on the hip hop side on how they'd be able to clear that record of something that may sound similar to an older record?
Well, I think that it just depends. You know what? If it's gonna be a bad record, if you're gonna upload it anywhere on any site, immediately you're gonna get an email. It's sad. I mean, if you have to go through that, because you do have to get clearances, right? You're gonna
because I believe like if it gets uploaded, they'll let you know. Because I know that's what was going on with one of our other songs, like the
Right.
Mexican. We were not able to upload. It took a while.
Right.
I don't know. I kind of think that if you're a good producer and if you're just about business and you're just not trying to get money here and then from like artists,
Sure.
think that if you're a good producer, right away, if there's any fee you gotta pay, I'm sure that they'll tell you up front. But if you get somebody that really wants to work and they're just about working and not about being fraud, I think that they'll go ahead and immediately get that clearance for you. Because that's what happened with my beats. I didn't get nothing, no problems. There's previous beats, especially one beat that I still have problems with because I'm assuming that the beat was not cleared. I
Right.
have problems with this one song. Here and then I'll still get an email. But these two beats that I just got, which were the replicas of the West Coast music, really easy. I already uploaded both songs. I haven't had that one problem with them.
Yeah. No, I do music as well, and I asked just for your experience because I dealt with that.
Mhm.
And so obviously it's your guys' interview. So I just wanted to get your insight on that. And yeah, there's a lot of fraudulent, and I mean they're real producers, but they'll try to pull the wool over your eyes. I mean,
Yeah.
my suggestion would be anybody who's doing music, just make sure you know the background of the person you're working with, who they've worked with, things like that. And if they don't have access to get clearance, because obviously your producers do, that's why I asked that. See if they can find out how, because that also as a producer makes you look better and may open up your horizons to work with other people.
Yes. Yes, I agree.
So with everything that you guys have been through with the music, with recording, with going through clearances and things like that, have you guys benefited from the modeling Like, do you guys get paid for the modeling? Do you guys get paid for the promos? Like, is there any financial benefit in that? Because I know you guys dabble in that as well.
Yes, we do. We do get hired to model, to promote spas, clothes, makeup, hair extensions, nails. Some stuff are given, of course, for free.
Sure.
That does benefit us. What, like, nails are expensive. We do have people that sponsor us. Check out Nails by Zalma. She's in Rialto, California. So there's a lot of like stuff that people offer it as long as we promote it, so it does save us money, but we do get paid to promote. For example, like, we did have for a while a little partnership with like Shein and like other places that we were promoting the clothes, and we do get discount codes. So of course, and also going viral, we do get money off of TikTok, Instagram, Facebook.
Yeah. How do you guys get a partnership with Shein? That's a name dropper right there. How would somebody go about doing that? Did they reach out to you? Did you guys reach out to them? That's pretty cool.
I guess it was so much tagging them. This was a few years back. They were not that big back then. We were just always constantly just like mentioning them, and they were just like, okay, here's a discount code. As long as people buy from you, you guys get it. And then we kind of just stopped for a while, but I don't know, we'll probably just start again.
Yeah, and they'll send us like packages here and then, and like we did this one wrap that we included them in there, and they just loved it. So from there, they'll start sending us like packages here and then. They know we twin it, so they'll send us outfits. We also got some packages from like Fashion Nova. I mean, there's been certain places where they've sent us things. Some, like my sister explained, they are paid. It just depends. Like for commercials, they want us to do
businesses,
yes. Mm-hmm.
certain restaurants.
Yeah, no, and absolutely everything's different. You know, whatever deals you guys broker with the businesses and the companies and stuff like that. So you guys have definitely on your time on social media have learned how to utilize it and make it profitable, and that's really fucking cool. So I applaud you guys for that for sure. So what can we see in the near future from you guys? Music, modeling, shows, collabs. Is there anything that we haven't touched on that you guys would want people to know?
I guess getting songs played on the radio. That was kind of always like our first goal. Like we said, we started off being like really on music 100%.
Right.
We Premio Lo Nuestro just passed. That was always one of our goals. Premio Lo Nuestros, Billboard, Regional Mexicano, Premios Juventud. I don't know. We've just always wanted, not just to go, because I mean, I don't like nowadays I could just pay like a PR and go and walk through the red carpet. I actually want to be like invited to it and like sing on stage and, you know, like get an award given to me. That's like a go.
You know, one of the things that is so funny is that we would persist on trying to get like radio interviews, like local radio interviews here in Los Angeles. And now, like, they'll message us and they'll be like, hey, girls, you girls want to come to like this radio station? And we're like, yeah. And so now we're able to kind of promote our music, as versus before it was so hard to get any type of radio interviews. It was just so hard, and now they just come on their own.
That's dope. So you guys have been doing the radio interviews. Have you guys got any radio play out of that?
We actually have, because when we're there, they'll actually play our tracks.
Have they? Which ones have they played? Just the We From Cali one, or any
no,
others?
the Spanish ones. La
Okay.
novia de, we have Regional Mexicano songs out there. So La novia del sicario, which is the girlfriend of the hitman. It's like a regional Mexican kind of like a girl that's dating like a member of a cartel.
Yes,
and then the Bon, the reggaeton.
That's sick. So here in the next 6 months to a year, more interviews, possibly more radio play. Do you guys have another?
I guess like going viral like once a month. Like actually it has been working. Like I remember like back then our music would go viral, but then when we came back, it was more like, oh, they went viral because like the Dodgers, or they went viral because we're making fun of them. Now it's more like they just like to share us. Jerry, what's his name? Jerry O'Connell. He's like a big actor from Hollywood. He followed us. We've had a lot of like big people. What is that guy? The producer of Paper Planes.
Yeah.
That singer MIA.
He shared.
He shared the shout out to the firefighters. The RBL posse followed us. So it's like a lot of people that have been. What's his name? From the dog pound. Is it Daz or is it Nate Dogg? Both of them. One of them passed away. The son of Nate Dogg used to follow. So it's just like a lot of people that have been like either like reaching out, listening to us,
and like
viewing our story.
And like we always go viral, like she said, for like, you know, the firefighter one or like the doctors. And lately, right now, we're actually going viral because of We From Cali.
It's right like I just looked at it a while ago and we were like at 158. And now it's probably like 160K. I don't know. It's just like getting.
Is that YouTube or Instagram?
Instagram. Right now, as we speak, we're hitting 2.5 million accounts, and that
our goal is to go viral on YouTube. Like back then, 2 of our songs went viral, and we want to get there again.
Yeah, no, I think it'll definitely help with your guys' Instagram presence. And the song is catchy, right? So when I seen you guys and I seen the skits and everything you guys do, you know, that was obviously. I was checking out your guys' Instagram because of that. But when you guys dropped that song, I thought it was dope. I see a lot of potential. I think you guys, honestly, this interview has went a lot better than I thought it was. You guys are fucking awesome. You guys are kick-ass. I love your story. I love what you guys represent. And just God bless you guys. If you guys need any promo, anything like that, you guys need any connections, you know, I don't know if I'll keep this part in or not, but I'm being sincere. I like your guys' energy. You guys are fucking awesome, and I appreciate your time for this, for real.
No, thank you. Thank you for, having us in your show. We're going to go ahead and give a shout out to
the Jukebox Podcast.
And here we go. We from Cali. We're from Cali. In LA, we like to party. In LA. We from Cali. We're from Cali. In LA. We like to party in LA. True Blue, we represent. We're from SoCal. East LA to be exact, where we learn to be strapped. That's a fact.
LA, baby.
That's right.
Ladies, I appreciate your time. This is James The Juggernaut, the Northwest Jukebox Podcast. I appreciate you guys' time. You know, we done about the full hour, so God bless you guys. Make sure you guys tune in. We out.
Thank you. Bye.